What's your name, where are you from, and how'd you hear about today?
Kurt, I live in El Cerrito, and I saw the posting on Craigslist.
Right on.
I have a
And
regular search for people giving away plants and trees.
cool. Now,
I think it's a fundamental human need.
and how active are you in the art of gardening?
I grew up in a family of active gardeners,
Uh-huh.
and only recently did we buy our first house.
Uh-huh.
So I'm getting a chance to return to the art, and since I now have a place I can plant things to take care of for a while.
Cool. So, what's the importance of having green space in an urban environment?
I don't know of anybody who doesn't like green space, even if they don't like to take care of the space themselves, or perhaps even pay for it. There are a few people who don't choose to have green around them at home or on vacation or just about any scenario they can. And it puts us in touch with the reality of the ecosystem we live in, which we're an inseparable part.
And if you were able to affect change at a kind of a political level, what kind of priorities, what kind of things might you introduce or ask your, kind of representatives to introduce to put gardening, green space, and this type of kind of preserve oasis as a priority? What kind of things might you be able to do?
Well, I think there needs to be a fundamental rethinking of how we value things with all of the stresses on our environment these days. I believe that a lot of the issues could be better understood and dealt with if we built the true cost of our actions into the analysis of our decisions. And we're starting to see a little more talk about this. In Europe, there's perhaps a little further along, but we still have a long ways to go in realizing that measuring things purely in dollars measures only half or less than half the picture. And it's interesting that when people are polled about environmental decisions and given time to think over the facts and then asked to prioritize, it's true few people want to give up technology or that they're not willing to put up with a little bit of pollution in their lives, but it's surprising what a large percentage of the population sets priorities very different from ones that government and companies often arrive at. And I think building this system in, like trading carbon credits, for example, is a specific initiative that's beginning to take flight, but it could cover a whole range of environmental issues.
Could you comment just a little bit about the fact that we're in this space that is now threatened? Not just threatened; it's already gone through that threatened stages. Now has been granted the green light.
And its death throes, yes.
Death throes, and just comment a little bit about the, just how even though community opposition was strong, that big businesses can influence a redundant bridge 200 feet from an existing bridge just for the ease and efficiency of big trucks being, kind of a throughway for big trucks to go to large construction sites. Can you just comment?
Well, of course, if all the thinking is on how much we can produce from purely economic and technological point of view, then it's easy to argue that nothing should stand in the way of any project. And this is always the uphill battle, is in making people broaden their thinking to understand other priorities that just are not part of the picture right now. I don't believe that the public would stand for every single plant never being touched again on the planet, and yet the decisions are not made even with the faintest knowledge of what is being traded off. It's just sort of a black hole that receives no attention.
Yeah. So even though it's a sad day for this plot of land, that we can see some hope in where these plants are going. So where do you expect some of the plants that you're helping rescue from the bulldozer? Where do you envision them going in your world?
Well, we have a decent amount of space behind our house, our new house that was let go for a long time, and so we're trying to restore it and learn about native species. This is our fourth or fifth trip out to get plants and trees that are no longer wanted. We started with some living Christmas trees that people decided they weren't going to plant after all. So they're out there.
Yeah. Good. So they'll be well loved by you, your partner, and do you have any family members?
Yep, little 1-year-old.
So that's good. So it'll be breathed in new life.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking time.
Living, flourishing ecosystem, and that's really what's going on here. I mean, you've got pickle grass growing over there. This rocky area here is being slowly turned into an estuary of sorts, you know, a water haven for all kinds of plants and animals, and unfortunately it's no longer going to be so, at least not in this immediate area here.
Yeah.
And then of course the impact of having cars driving here, not only the traffic but the runoff into the water, that's
right.
all. It's all going to cause, you know, a lot of damage and a lot of disruption.
Right.
So.
Right. Cool. Thank you. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Shannon Riley, and I live in San Francisco.
How'd you hear about today's activities?
Craigslist, the random looking at the free list.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Now, what's your connection with gardening in general?
Well, you know, I think we probably got our place in the Lower Haight because we said we were going to garden, but just it's one of those projects that just takes a lot of work. And we've been there for 2 years, and we've tried a few times, and so we saw this ad, and we thought we would try it again, and you know, get some love into that backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the importance of having green space, either parks, wetlands, or gardens, in an urban setting?
You know, it's peacefulness. Even if not a lot of people walk into this backyard, which they don't, there's a lot of people that look onto this space. So if you can just get your mind off the concrete world for a little bit and just look at something else, yeah. That's it.
And do you know a little bit about this area that we're basically rescuing plants from bulldozers?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I know, you know, quite a bit about community struggle and trying to save sacred spaces, and so I think it's important that there's all these people that are taking a piece of this and, you know, generating many more sacred spaces from it.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you were able to affect change in the political environment, what might you do to inspire the local representatives and politicians to prioritize green space?
You know, just more community gardens. I think I know the wait list for a lot of community gardens is huge, and that also generates community too. And with community, you get more activism. So I would just say, activate around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that in Havana, 60% of their food is supplied by the food that they grow in their own city limits?
Wow. Yeah, rooftops. I mean, they are just not being used here. You know, like we could definitely, there's no trees on rooftops here or any gardens, like definitely rooftops, and even living on rooftops. I mean, you could populate the city with yurts all over these rooftops and gardens, and yeah, I mean, solve a lot of homeless issues, you know, and then, right, generate food, and so you'd have income, and
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking time out from your busy day, and thank you for rescuing from the bulldozer.
All right, thanks.
Okay.